Come and state direction. Trooper calls the park. Bun Yahawada Bun Yashala. Trooper calls the park. Bun Yahawada Bun Yashala. Yahweh Shim Yahweh Shabakata. Yahweh Shim Yahweh Shabakata. La Yashal. La Yashal. I Madjum, which means to stand. Wakanya Hakwadum, and face the east. All right, this way right here. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Shabbat Shemayim. Wadash. Wadash. Hayah. Hayah. Shamka. Shamka. Yahawah. Yahawah. Walakuka. Walakuka. Daba'ah. Daba'ah. Batazaka. Batazaka. Hayah. Hayah. Aisha. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Kawa. Hayah. Hayah. Bashemayim. Bashemayim. Lathandanawa. Lathandanawa. Lakam. Lakam. How. How. Yawam. Yawam. Basalakanawa. Basalakanawa. Kawawaknawa. Kawawak. Kasalak nawa, kabawak nawa, wala'a, kabaya'a nawa, banasayawan, abol, awashai nawa, mayan, rai, kaya, laka, amalakwa, waha'ala, wahata'apara, La awalamyam, aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, and forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Babakusha, Fundanawa, Hakak, Lavapa'a, Kamakala, Wakamanawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahakuyam, Hamakyam, Hakak, Al-Rakhawa, Hatama'ala, Lagabarshan, Bashim Yahweh Shai, the water Aman. In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leprous. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'a, Ayanya, Al-Haharyam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Aizoria, Na'aim, Yahawah, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Al-Yatan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamorka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yashan, Shawamor, Yasha'ala, Yahawah, Shamorka, Yahawah, Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al-Yan,
Al-Yan,
Yamyanka,
Yamyanka,
Yawamam,
Yamamam,
Hashamash,
Hashema,
La'a,
La'a,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wayara,
Walayala,
Balayala,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yashamorka,
Yashmorka,
Wakaurai,
Wakara,
Yashamor,
Yashmor,
Abdapaska,
Nafdapaka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yashamor,
Yashmor,
Hazaaka,
Sa'alaka,
Wabuwa'aka,
Bawa'a,
Ma'aita,
Ma'ata,
Ba'ai,
Ba'ai,
Awalam,
Awalam,
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills,
I will lift up my eyes to the hills,
from which cometh my help.
from which cometh my
My
help.
help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from
which
Yahweh,
made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh thy keeper,
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee
Yahweh shall preserve
from
thee
all evil.
from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in.
this time forth
From this time forth
and even forevermore,
and even forevermore,
so be it.
so be it.
All right, Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Al Damayalaka,
Al Dayalamaka,
Al Thacharash,
Al Takarash,
Wa Al Tashakwat,
Wa Al Tashakwat,
Al
Al
Kayahana,
Kaya Hana,
Awayabdaka,
Ayayamdika,
Yahama Yawan,
Yahama Yawan,
Wama Shanayaka,
Wama Shanayaka,
Nasha Awa,
Nasha Awa,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Ayol Aimaka,
Al Aimaka,
Ya Iva Youngwa,
Ya Iwa Yamya,
Sawad,
Sawa,
Wayata Ya'ai Tazawa,
Waya Taja Ai Tazawa,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Al Tazawangika,
Amorwa,
Amorwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakakagam,
Yakakidam,
Magoya,
Magoria,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Aiwad,
Aiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawa'ai Tazawa,
Nanya Ai Tazawa,
Lab,
La,
Yahadwa,
Yakagwa,
Al Yaka,
Al Yaka,
Warya,
Warya,
Yakarafwa,
Yakarafwa,
Ahoya,
Ahowa,
Adawam,
Alawam,
Wayashama Ilayam,
Why Yashama Aidawam,
Mawa'aba,
Waba'aba,
Wahagayam,
Wahagarya,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wa'aimawan,
Wa'amawan,
Wa'aimalak,
Wa'amalak,
Palashah,
Palashat,
Amyashabya,
Amyashabya,
Hazawar,
Tagawar,
Gam,
Gam,
Ashawar,
Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Amam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zabawai,
Zabawai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha Laham,
Ashar Laham,
Kamadyan,
Kamadya,
Kasaya Saba'a, sorry, Kasaya Saba'a,
Kasaya, Sabara,
Kayabyan,
Kanyamya,
Banahal,
Manahal,
Wayashwan,
Wanyashwa,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Ayanda Ara,
Bayan Anjawa,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Yaman,
Aman,
La Adama,
La Adama,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Nadayabmawa,
Wayanamdawa,
Ka'ira,
Ka'ara,
Wakaza'aba,
Yakaza'aba,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Wakatazalmanai,
Wakazazammanai,
Kaul,
Kal,
Nasiyakamwa,
Nasayakamwa,
Ashor,
Aishar,
Amorwa,
Amorwa,
Nayavasha,
Nayavasa,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Atha, Na'awa,
Na'awa,
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Raka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
like it, repeat, Na'awa,
Na'awa,
Alahayam,
Alahayam,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Kagawgala,
Kagawgala,
Kapash,
Karkash,
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Raka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Saba Aiva Ya Aiva,
Daba Aira Ya Aira,
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba,
Kalahat, Haryam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Navadatma,
Dawadakma,
Basa Ivaka,
Basa Africa,
Baba Savapaka, like here, Baba Savapaka,
Waba Sabakaka,
Savapaka,
Sabapaka,
Baba Halam,
Sabahalam,
Mala'a,
Mala'a,
Hanyaham,
Hayam,
Kwalawan,
Walawan,
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shaka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yabashwa,
Yabaswa,
Wayabahalwa,
Wayabahamwa,
Adai,
Al-Ja'ai,
Wayakaporwa,
Wayakapora,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Ata,
Ata,
Shamka,
Shaka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labadka,
Labaka,
Al Yuwan,
Al-Yawan,
Al
Al,
Kal
Kal,
Arataza
Rakaza,
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace,
and be not still, O Yahweh.
and be not still, O
For
Yahweh.
lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
Thy enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden one.
and consulted against thy hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from
And-
being a nation,
and let them cut them off from being a nation,
that the name of Israel
that the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom
The tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites
of Moab
of Moab,
and the Hagari,
and the Hagari,
the Baal,
the Baal,
in Ammon,
and Ammon,
in Amalek,
and
the
Amalek,
Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashur also have joined with
They are
them.
hoping the children of Lot,
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them,
do unto them,
as unto the Midianites,
as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kasad,
at the brook of Kasar,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at
They
Endor.
became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a ram,
Make their nobles like a ram,
and like Zahab.
and like Zahab.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes,
all their princes,
as the Ba,
as the Baal,
and as the Muna,
as the Muna,
who said,
who said,
let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
Oh, my power,
Hold my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth for wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
as the flame sets the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded
not to be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the Most High
art the Most High
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
Start with me to turn. Yeshavu, which means to be seated. All right, so Shalom Israel, for the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. So this is the Sabbath service. Where we're going to begin is Genesis. From last week we left off in Genesis chapter 9. But now we have led into Genesis chapter 10, right? And we're going to start from there, Genesis chapter 10, verse 1, and we're going to make our way down, all right? We also get it in the English as well on my side. You also, you have it already in the English as well. Most High Christ provided for that. All right, we're going to go ahead. So let me see. That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. We're just going to finish out. So we're going to read Genesis chapter 10. All right, all the way to Genesis, to the end of Genesis chapter 11. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and finish that. We might as well. All right, so in the Hebrew, Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. In the Hebrew, Wa'ala thalada banya na sham kham wayapah wayawaladwa laham banya it's like a banyam akar habal it's like a hab mabal. Verse 2, banya yapah gamor wa garan, so it's like a wa magarag. All right, wamad wamadya waya one wa the ball wa mashar, it's like a wa mashak wa tayaras. All right, verse 3, wa banya gabar ashkenaz wa yapah what the garama, it's like it was the garama. Verse 4, what banya yawan, it's like what banya yawan al alasha ala yasha, what the rayash kathium what a god, what dad's like it, what the dad dons like it, what the danya. Verse 5, ma'ala paradwa ayaya hagaryam wa arataza, it's like it was aratazatham ayash la shanwa la mashapak like la mashapakatma bagar yaham, says bagar, it's like bagar yaham. Verse 6, wa banyaham kawash wa matazarayim wa pawat wa kanan. Verse 7, wa banya kawas saba'a wa call yala wa sabah, it's like wa shabatha wa ra'aim, it's like ra'aima wa ibatha, it's like wa ibataka wa banya ra'aima shaba'a radadan, it's like it was the dan.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, Salakia, and Meshech, and Tiras. Verse 3. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. Verse 4. And the sons of Javan, Elashah, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nations. Verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. Verse 7. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Amah, and Sabtekcha. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan.
That's how Christ. Verse 8 in the Hebrew, Wakawas, Yalad, Namarad, Hawa'ah, Akal, Lahayawat, like it, Gabar, Ba'arataza. Verse 9, Hawa'ah, Hayah, Gabar, Tazayad, Lapanya, Yahawa Al Khan, Ya'amar, Kana Marad, it's like a Kana Marad, Gabawar, Tazayad, Lapanya, Yahawah. Verse 10, what the higher, Ra'ashya, Malakatwa, Babal, wa Arak, it's like a wa Arak, wa Akkad, wa Akkad, wa Kalanaba Arataza Shana'ir. Verse 11, Man, Rataza, Hawa, Yataza, Ashawar, Wayaban, Nayanawa, Wa'af, Rachabath, Idar, Wa'af, Kalak, verse 12. Wa'af, Ra'ain, Bayan, Nayanawa, Wabayan, Kalak, it's like a Kalak, Hawa'a, Ha'idar, Ha'gadala, verse 13. What Matazarayim, Lalad, Af, Lawadyam, Wa'af, Ainam, it's like an Ainamyam, Wa'af, Lahabyam, Wa'af, Nafasakyam, verse 14. Wa'af, Patharasyam, Wa'af, Kasalakyam, Ashar, it's like Yataza'awa, Masham, Palashafyam, Wa'af, Kapatharium.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and the land of Shinar. Verse 11. Out of the land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calah. Verse 12. And resin between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. Verse 13. And Mizraim begat Ladam, and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Naphtahim. Verse 14. And Pathrusim, and Caphluhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Caphtorah.
Verse 15 in the Hebrew. What Canaan Yalad Af, Taza, it's like it, Taza Yadan, Bakarwa, Wa'af, Kham, it's like it, Khaf. Verse 16, Wa'af, Haya Bawashya, Wa'af, Ha'amoria, Wa'af, Haragashya. Verse 17, Wa'af, Hakoya, Wa'af, Hakoya, that's the Hivites. Hakoya, Wa'af, Irakia, Wa'af, Hasayan, Hasayanya. Verse 18, Wa'af, Ha'arawadia, Ha'arawadia, Wa'af, Ha'tazamaria, Wa'af, Ha'hamathya, Wa'akar, Napatazawa, Masapaka, it's like a Masapaka, Hakanaanya, verse 19, Wayahaya, Gabal, it's like a Gabal, Hakanaanya, Matazayadan, Ba'aka, Gavara, Aid, Aiza, Ba'aka, Sadama, Wa'imara, Wa'imada, it's like Wa'adama, Tazabyam, Aid, Lashad, verse 20, Allah, Banya, Ham, La Masapakatham, it's like La Masapakathma, Lala Shanafma, it's like Lala Shanathma, the Shan, meaning language and tongue. All right, Ba'aratazafma, Bagor Yaham, verse 21. Walasham Yalad Gam Hawa'a, Abaya Ka Banya Ivar, Akya Yapa, Hagadal. It's like a Gadawal.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 15. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth. Verse 16. And the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite. Verse 17. And the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sanite. Verse 18. And the Arvadite, and the Zamarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Verse 19. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza, as thou goest, unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. Verse 20. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born.
Sign Christ. All right, we're going to finish out Genesis chapter 10. All right, we're going to go all the way down to 30, I believe 31, 32, whichever it is. Genesis chapter 10, verse 22. Vanya, Sham, Ayalam, Wa Ashagor, Wa Ava Pakashad, Wa Lawad, Wa Aram, verse 23. Wa Vanya Avram, Iotizah, it's like an Iotizah, Iotizah, Wakal, it's like a Wakawal, Wagathar, Wamash, verse 24. Ra'awa Kashad, Yalad, Af, Shalak, Wa Shalak, Yalad, Af, Ibar, verse 25. Wala Ibar Yalad, Shanya, Banyam, Sham, Wa Achad, Palad, Kaya, Bayam Yawa, Na Palaga, Arataza, Washam, Akyawa, Yakwatan, verse 26. Wayakwatan, we said Wayakwatan, Yalad, Alamawadad, Wa'af, Shalak, Wa'af, Katazaramawaf. It's like it. Katazaramwaf, Wa'af, Yarak, verse 27. Wa'af, Hadaram, Wa'af, Hawazal, it's like Awazal, Wa'af, Dakwala, verse 28. Wa'af, Ibal, Wa'af, Abayama'ala. It's like Abayama'ala. These Abayama'ala. It's like Abayama'ala, Wa'af, Shaba'ah, verse 29. Wa'af, Awapor, Wa'af, Hawalaya, it's like Hawayala, Wa'af, Yawabab, Kaul, Allah, Banya, Yakwatan, verse 30. Wayahaya, Mawashabam, it's like Mawasabma, Mama Masha, it's like Mama Shah, not Mama Masha, Mama Masha, Ba'aka, Sapar, it's like Sapara, Har, Hakwadam, verse 31. Allah, Banya, Sham, Lama Shapakafma, Lala Shanafma, Ba'aratazafma, La Goryaham, verse 32. Allah Mashapaka, Banya Nak, Lathar, it's like it, Lathar Lad, it's like it, Dathma, it's like it, Lathar Ladafma, Bana, it's like it, Bagoryaham, Wamala'a, it's like it, Wama'ala, Na Paradwa, Hagoryam, Ba'arataza, Akor, Hamabal. It's like a Hamabal.
Go ahead. Genesis 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. Verse 22. The children of Shem, Elam and Ashur and Arphaxad and Lud and Aram. Verse 23. And the children of Aram, Uz and Hul and Gezer and Mach. Verse 24. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. Verse 25. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. Verse 26. And Joktan begat Elmodad, and Sheleph, and Hazarmaveth, and Jerah. Verse 27. And Hadaram, and Azal, and Diglah. Verse 28. And Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba. Verse 29. And Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. Verse 30. And their dwelling was from Meshach, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. Verse 31. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Verse 32. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
All right. Give that brother a hand so I'll read it. I mind you, which means to stand just us up here. Shubakazaki, come take that registry.
Shubakazakia.
I'm pretty sure you got a man Shabbat. I'm not Shabbat.
Shubakazakia. Bam Yasharella. Bam Yahawada.
Maybe Ban Yahawada, then Ban Yashar.
Shubakazakia. Bam Yahawada. Bam Yasharella.
Shubakazakia, Ban, we all say together. Shubakazakia, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yashar.
Yahweh Shem Yashar Rakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Rakatah. Go ahead. All right. The Shabbat was made to be seated. All right, so we're going to be in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. We're going to be in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 in Hebrew. All right. Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. In the Hebrew, Wayahaya Kala Rataza Shapa Asa Asake Achad wa Gabaryam Asake Achadyam. Verse 2, Wayahaya Bana Aim Makwadam Wayamataza Awa Ba Kwaaya Ba Arataza Shania Wayashab wa Sham. Verse 3, Waya Amar wa Ayash Al Ra'ayawa Haba Nala Nala Bana Labanyam. It's like Laban Labanayam. It's like Labanayam. Bana is brick, like the bill. Labanayam. Wana Shara. It's like wa na wana Shavapa la Shavapa. Watahaya laham halabana la aban wahakamor haya laham lahamor. Verse 4, waya amor wa haba na bana la nawa ayar wamagadal ra'ashwa. It's like ra'ashwa bashamya wana Aisha la nawa sham pan na pataza na pataza al panya kal ha'arataza. Verse 5, waya rad Yahweh la ra'af ha'ayar wa'af hamagadal la shar banwa banya ha'adam. Verse 6, waya amar Yahweh khan aim achad wa shapa achad la kalam. It's like la kalam wa wazah ha-kalam wa ashawat. It's like wa aisha wa aita la ya batazar maham kal ashar ya zamwa la aisha. Verse 7, haba navada wana bala sham shapatma ashar la yashamai wa ayash shapat ra'ayawa. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Verse 2, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Verse 3, and they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had a they had brick for a stone, and Slim had them for mortar. Like it. Verse 4, and they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Verse 5, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. Verse 6, and the Lord said, Behold, the people of one,
Is one.
the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begun to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Verse 7, Go to, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Verse 8 in the Hebrew. Wayapataza Yahweh Atham Masham Al Panya Kala Avataza Waya Hadal La Banaf Ha'ayar. Verse 9 Al Pan Paba'a Shama Babal Kaya Sham Balal Yahweh Shapaf Kal Avataza Wamasham Hapayatazam Yahweh Al Panya Kal verse 10, Al Dawaladaf Sham Ban Ma'af Shana Waya Walad our Pakash power ups like it, our Pakashad Shanafyam Achar Mabal. Verse 11, Wayachaya Sham Akoya Hawalayad wa Abba Pakashad, like Abba Pakashad, Hamash, Ma'awat, Shana, Waya Yawats like it, Waya Walad, Banyam, wa Banwa. Verse 12, Abba Pakashad, Hayat, like it, Chaya, Hamash, Washalashyam Shana Wayawalad Af Shalak. Verse 13, Wayachaya Abba Pakashad Achoya Hawalayadwa Af Shalak Shalash Shanyam Arabai Ma'af Ma'af Shana Wayawalad Banyam wa Banwa. Verse 14, Washalachaya Shalashyam Shana Wayawalad Af Ibar.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Verse 9. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from this did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Verse 10, these are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Verse 11, and Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. Verse 12, and Arphaxad lived 35 years and begat Selah. Verse 13, and Arphaxad lived after he begat Selah 400 years and 3 years. 403 years, like it, and begat sons and daughters. Verse 14, and Selah lived 30 years and begat Eber.
All right. Verse 15 in the Hebrew. All right. So it's like Genesis chapter 11, verse 15 in the Hebrew. Wayachaya shalak achoya hawa layadwa ibar shalach shanyam wa arabai ma'at shana wayawalad banyam wa banwat. Verse 16. Wayachaya ibar arabai shalashyam shana wayawalad apalad. Verse 17. Wayachaya ibar achoya hawa layadwa apalad. Shalashim Shana wa Arabai Ma'af Shana wa Yawalad Ban Yam wa Banwa. Verse 18, wa Yachaya Palad Shalashim Shana wa Yawalad Ra'aiwa. Verse 19, wa Yachaya Palad Akoya Hawalayadwa Af Ra'aiwa the Shai Shanyam wa Ma'af Yam Shana wa Yawalad Ban Ya wa Banwa. Verse 20, Wayachaya Ra'aiwa Shafyam wa Shalashyam Shana wa Yawalad Ab Sharag. Verse 21, Wayachaya Ra'aiwa Achoya Hawalayadwa Ab Sharag Shabai Shanyam wa Ma'afyam Shana wa Yawalad Ban Yam wa Banwa.
Genesis 11, verse 15. And Selah lived after begat Eber 403 years, and begat sons and daughters. Verse 16. And Eber lived 34 years, and begat Palah. Verse 17. And Eber lived after he begat Palah 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Palah lived 30 years and begat Real. Verse 19. And Palah lived after he begat Real 209 years.
He was Ruth.
Begat Ruth. Verse 19. And Palah lived after he begat Ruth 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Ruth lived, verse 20. And Ruth lived 230 years, and begat Sarug. Verse 21. And Ruth lived after he begat Sarug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters.
Yeah, I think that E is a silent. In the English language, it happens. Verse 22. Genesis chapter 11, verse 22. Wayachaya Sharag Shalashyam Shana Wayawalad Af it's like a Nakawar. All right, it's like a Nakawar, Nakawar. I think that's the first time. Nakawar. Verse 23. Wayachaya Sharag Ahoya Hawalayadwa Af Nakawar Ma'afyam Shana Wayawalad Ban Yamwa Banwa. Verse 24. Wakaya Nakawar the Shai Asherayim Shana Wayawalad Af the Rock. Verse 25. Wayachaya Nakawar Ahoya Hawalayadwa Af the Rock. The Shai Asherah Shana Wama'af Shana Wayawalad Ban Yamwa Banwa. Verse 26. Wayachaya the Rock Shabayam Shana Wayawalad Af Abaram. It's like an Abaram Af Nakawar Wa Af Harag. Verse 27. Wa Allah that's like a Thar Ladaf. Thar Ladaf the Rock. Tharak. Hawalayad Af Abaram Af Nakawar Wa Af Haran Waharan Hawalayad Af Lawat. Verse 28. Wayamaf Haran Al Panya Tharak Abayawa Ba'arataza Mawaladatwa Ba'awar Kashadyam. Verse 29. Wayakwak Abaram Waba Slaki Wanakawar Laham Nashyam Sham Ashaf Abaram Shoya Slaki Shoya Washam Ashaf Nakawar Malakah Ban Haran, Abaya, Malakah, Wa Abaya, Yasaka. Verse 30. All right. Watahaya Shoya, I Korah, Ayan Laha, Walad. Verse 31. Wayakwak, Thorak, Af, Abaram, Banwa, Wa'af, Lawat, Ban, Haran, Ban, Banwa, Wa'af, Shoya, Kalatwa, Ashaf, Abaram, Banwa, Watazaawa, Atham, Athma, like I was correct. Atham, Ma'awar, Kashadyam, Lalakaf, Rataza, Banai, it's like Kana'ain, Waya Ba'awa, Aida, Haran, Waya Shabwa, Sham. Verse 32, Waya Hayawa, Yam, Tharak, Hamash, Shanyam, it's like Wa Ma'afyam, Shana, Waya Mat, Tharak, Ba Haran.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 22. And Sarah lived 30 years and begat Nahor. Verse 23. And Sarah lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. Verse 24. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Tohar. Verse 25. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah and 119 years and begat sons and daughters. Verse 26. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram.
It's Terah, by the way.
Verse 26. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Verse 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Tahar begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran begat Lot. Verse 28. And Haran died before his fathers, and Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ar and of the Chaldees. Verse 29. Abraham and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai.
At that time, it's Sarai. Even though it is Sarah, it's Sarai at that time.
Sarai. And the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, and Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Issachar. Verse 30. But Sarai and Haran and Baran
Was barren.
Sarai was barren, she had no child. Verse 31. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran had son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram, to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. Verse 32. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
All right. Imagine between stand us up here.
Yashua.
La Yashala. Qajim, which means to stand. Everyone can now stand. Wa Panyahakwadam, and face the east. The east will be this way. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kadash,
Kadash,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwaka,
Malakwaka,
Naba'ah,
Naba'ah,
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka,
it's like a Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Ba'arataza,
Ba'arataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim,
Lathananawa,
Lathananawa,
Lakam,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalaknawa,
Wasalaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Kabiya'anawa,
Kabiya'anawa,
Wanasayawan,
Wanasayawan,
Abor,
Abor,
Hawashinawa,
Hawashai,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai, Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa,
Waha'ala,
Waha'ala,
Watapara,
Watapara,
La Awalamyam,
La Awalam,
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy
Thy
name.
kingdom come.
Thy kingdom
Thy
come.
will be done.
Thy will be done
In earth
in earth
as it is in
as
heaven.
it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our
as
debts
we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our
And
debtors.
lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the
For
kingdom,
thine is the
and
kingdom,
the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Hakak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashim Yahweh Shai,
Bahashim Yahushua,
Baba Kwashah,
Baba Kwashah,
Natanda Nawa,
Nathanyanawa,
Hakak,
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 Lava Pa'ah,
Lava Pa'ah,
Kal Makala,
Kal Lakala,
Wakal Marawa,
Wakal Malawa,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Latahar,
Latahar,
Hamatazarayim,
Hamatazarayim,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Lahakwiyam,
Lahakwiyam,
Hamakyam,
Hamakyam,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Al-Rakawa,
Al-Rakawa,
Hatama Allah,
Hatama Allah,
Lagarashan,
Legarashan,
Bahashim Yahweh Shai,
Bahashim Yahushua,
the Wada Aman.
the water of man.
In the English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
in the name of Yahushua,
please
please
give us the power,
give us the power
to heal
to heal
all manner of sickness
all manner of sickness
and all manner of disease,
and all manner of disease,
the power to cleanse the leprous,
the power to cleanse the leper,
the power to raise the dead,
the power to raise the dead,
the power against unclean spirits,
the power against unclean
to
spirits,
cast them out.
to cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh Shai,
In the name of Yahushua,
thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew, Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayyamya,
Ayyamya,
all Hahoyam,
all Hahoryam,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Izoya,
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 Ma'aib,
Ma'aib,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Lasha,
Shemayim,
Shemayim,
Arataza,
Arataza,
Al Yatan,
Al Yatam,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Ragalka,
Regalka,
Al Yanawam,
Al Yanawam,
Shemorka,
Shemorka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yashun,
Yayasham,
Shawamor,
Shawamor,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shemorka,
Shemorka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al Yad,
Al Yad,
Yamyanka,
Yamyam,
Yawamam,
Yabawam,
Hashemas,
Hashemat,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wayarak,
Balayala,
Bayayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamorka,
Yashamorka,
Makarai,
Vikarai,
Yashamor,
Yashamor,
Afnapashka,
Afnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamor,
Yashamor,
Tazaaka,
Tazaaka,
Wabawaaka,
Wabawaaka,
Ma'aita,
La'atam,
Ma'aid,
Ba'aid,
Awalam,
Awalam,
Aman.
Aman.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills,
I will lift up my eyes into the
from
hills,
which cometh my help.
from which cometh my
My
help.
help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from
which
Yahweh,
made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and
He
earth.
will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
that keepeth thee
He that keepeth
will
thee
not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold, he
Behold,
that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
shall
Israel
neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee
Yahweh shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in.
this time forth
From this time forward
and even forevermore,
and even forevermore,
so be it.
so be it.
All right. By the way, Psalms 121 is also precepts for reincarnation in the Bible. All right. Psalms 83.
Psalms
Also,
83.
you don't got to repeat that. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahaya.
Alahaya.
Al Damaya Laka.
Al Damaya Baka.
Al Fakharash.
Al Takarash.
Wa Al Tashakwat.
Wa Al Tajakwat.
Al.
Al
Kaya Hana.
Kaya Hana.
Our Yah Yaka.
Our Yah Yaka.
Yahweh Yawan.
Yahama Yawan.
Wama Shanayaka.
Wama Shanayaka.
Nasha Awa.
Nasha Awa.
Wa'ash.
Wa'ash.
Al Aimaka.
Al Aimaka.
Ya Arayamwa.
Ya Awayamra.
Sawad.
Sawa.
Wayataya I Tazawa.
Wayataza I Tazawa.
Al Tazapawanyaka.
Al Tazapawandika.
Amorwa.
Amorwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakidam.
Wayakakidam.
Magoya.
Hagoya.
Wana'a.
Wada'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakor.
Sham Yasha Allah.
Sham Yasha'ala.
Aiwad.
Aiwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa'ai Tazawa.
Naya Ay Tazawa.
Lab.
Lab.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Auyaka.
Auyaka.
Orya.
Waya.
Yakarafwa.
Yakarakwa.
Wahoya.
Wahoya.
Adawam.
Wadawam.
Wayasama Ailayam.
Wa Mashayala Ayalam.
Mawa'aba.
Marwa Abba.
Wahagoyam.
Wahagoya.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wa'aimawan.
Wa Ayenwa.
Wa'aimalak.
Ba Amelak.
Palasha.
Palasha.
I'm Yeshabya.
Ayin Shamba.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
By the way, I'm saying Yeshabya. By the way, let's start that. I'm Yeshabya.
Al Yeshayya.
Shab, like with a B.
Shabya.
Shabya. I'm Yeshabya.
Al Yeshabya.
Both sides in Christ. Sound like y'all was saying with an M at first. Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gama Ashawar.
Gam Ashabor.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Imam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zawawai.
Zagarai.
Labanya Lawat.
Labanya Lawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha Laham.
Aisha Laham.
Kamadyan.
Kamadya.
Kasaya Saba'a.
Kajaya. Saja.
Like Kasaya Saba'a.
Kasaya Sara'a.
Kayabyan.
Kayanya.
Banahal.
Banikal.
Kwayashwan.
Kayashma.
Nashamadwa.
Yashamatma.
By Ayan Da'ara.
Bayanyan.
Like it. By Ayan Da'ara.
Bayan. Danyara.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Daman.
Daman.
La Adama.
La Adama.
Shayatamwa.
Sayatamwa.
Narayamawa.
Yamawa.
Like it. Nadayamawa.
Nadadam
There
Yawam.
you go. Ka'irab.
Ka'ara.
Wakaza'aba.
Wakaza'aba.
Wakazabak.
Wakazaba.
Wakatazalmanai.
Wakazazalmanai.
Paul.
Kal.
Nasayakamwa.
Nasa Yakamba.
Ashor.
Ashur.
Amorwa.
Amorwa.
Nayarashar.
Naya Rasha.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Ah. Na'awa.
Na'awa.
Alahayam.
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 Alahaya.
Shayatamwa.
Sayatangwa.
Kagalgala.
Kagalgala.
Kakwash.
Kapash.
Lapanya Raka.
Lapanya Raka.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Saba Aiva Ya'aiva.
Raba Aya Ra'aya.
Wakalahaba.
Wakalahaba.
Kalahat.
Kalahat.
Haryam.
Haryam.
Khan.
Khan.
Daradakma.
Taradakma.
Basa Iraka.
Basa Arikam.
Wabasa Wapaka.
Waba Abaspaka.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Mala'a.
Mala'a.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Kwalawan.
Kwalahana,
Waya Bakwashwa,
Waya Bakwashma,
Shamka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Waya Bahalwa,
Waba Bahaiwa,
Ida Ai,
Aya Ayi,
Waya Kapawa,
Waya Kaparwa,
Waya Abadwa,
Waya Kabadwa,
Waya Da'awa,
Waya Da'aywa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Ata,
Ata,
Shamka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labanka,
Nabarka,
Al Yuwan,
Al Yawan, Al
Kal,
Kal,
Rataza,
Rataza,
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
Our enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee
And they that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
have lifted up their
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy
And
people.
consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden
They
ones.
have said,
They have said,
Come, and let us cut them off from
And let
being a
us-
nation.
let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel
That the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may no more in remembrance.
It's like it. May be no more in remembrance.
May be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites
of Moab
of Moab
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal
Gabal
and Ammon
and Ammon
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashur also is joined with them.
They have opened the children of Lot.
They have opened the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them,
do unto them,
as unto the Midianites,
as to the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kasan,
at the brook of Kasan,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at
It
Endor,
became as dung for the earth.
became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a red,
Make their nobles like a
like
red,
the air,
like the air.
they,
They,
like a yea,
they,
all their princes,
all their princes,
as the Muna,
as the Muna,
like it, as the Ba,
as the Ba,
and as the Muna,
and as the
who
Muna,
said,
who
let
said,
us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the house of Yahweh in possession.
the house of Yahweh in possession.
Oh, my power,
Oh, my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a
as
wheel,
the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the
as the
wind,
fire burning for wood,
as the fire burneth for
and as
wood,
the flame set the mountains on fire.
as the flame set up the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy
and
tempest,
make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with
that
shame,
they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded,
let them be
in
confounded
trouble forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame,
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and
that
perish,
men may know
that men may
that the
know
name alone,
that the name alone,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the Most High,
who art the Most High,
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
Sorry, being the turn. Time six. Yeah, make it out of here. The Shabbat to the sisters cannot be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courteous salute to the sisters. Men of Israel. All right, slack it to the brothers. Like we're going to give a courteous salute to the brothers. Like that's on me. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat. I love you. Barak.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat
Yahweh Matah. So I walk to the sisters, me and turn to the sisters. I walk him. I mind you, was going to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give a curse salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat. I love you. Barak. Yahweh Shabbat. Looks like it. That's on me. Slack it. Yahweh Shabbat. Hashem Yahweh Shabbat. Yahweh Matah. With that, class dismissed.